Whitey, 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 whitey. Oh, if you're black, nothing for you. But if you're white, there's something for you. In the world, the white is right, but black is wrong.
Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome. I do hope you decide to subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, you guys know that I love you. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. It's so good to have you here. So first of all, my video is strictly for educational purposes. Please do not go searching out the people that I talk about in this video. Don't send them any form of hate comment, threats, or violence. This channel does not support any of that. So today's topic is something quite sensitive. I watched that video and it touched something in me. I was very hurt. So this video has been circulating. Apparently it's an old video, but it just got released to the internet, and everybody, I'm talking black people all over the world, have been commenting and reacting to this video. And it has to do with a little girl. This happened in Ireland. I'm just going to go right ahead and play this video.
This video is from March last year. It shows a medal ceremony at a gymnastics event held in the Irish capital of Dublin. You can see young gymnasts lined up, patiently but excitedly awaiting their medal. Every girl gets a medal, except for one, the only black girl there. The sporting official avoids her and moves on to the next in line. At first, the young girl is surprised, doesn't understand what's happening. But soon her smile turns into a sigh. She looks at the line ahead to see if the official would come back with a medal. But no one does. No one intervenes either. There's an audience of hundreds in the stands. Also a photographer, a coach, and other officials. Everyone simply looks on. This weekend the video went viral. It got over 40 million views and received condemnation from across the world. Olympic champion Simone Biles said there is no room for racism in any sport or at all. Her teammate and Olympic winner Jordan Chiles said this is beyond hurtful on so many levels. The girl's mother says her daughter was ignored because of her identity. Last year the parents issued a complaint of racism. For 18 months the Irish sports body Gymnastics Ireland did not apologise to the family. Instead they held an investigation and simply asked both parties to talk it out. They declined to attend the mediation. In August this year, they claimed both parties had reached a resolution. The official involved expressed deep regret. She described it as an honest error. After international condemnation mounted, a written apology was eventually provided to the family. But the young girl's mother has rubbished it. She says the issue wasn't settled after mediation, and the apology was a one-line letter, which started with, "To whom it concerns." Doesn't really scream remorse now, does it? During mediation, the girl's mother discovered that the judge had written another apology, a long personal letter, within days of the competition. The judge sent it to the Irish body to send it to the family, but it never reached them. Meanwhile, no anti-racist policies were implemented. There was no improvement in protection for athletes of colour. It appears that the Irish body was more focused on protecting its reputation rather than safeguarding the athletes from blatant racism.
It is painful to actually state and know the obvious. My daughter was the only black child in that competition. She stood out well. There was no excuse for what happened. She felt very upset about what happened. It's more like they almost blamed her for being black.
I was very uncomfortable. I actually yelled from far.
When I got back home, we saw the video and all of that. It was like, did it really happen? I couldn't really believe that did happen. We kind of told her, regardless of your skin color, people shouldn't treat you differently.
People for a period with time, don't forget about it. Painful to see that you have to beg for an apology later.
They only sent us an apology because the world wanted them to, because we cried for so long.
If you're a mom, if you're an elder sister, if you're an auntie, an uncle, heck, if you're just a regular person because you were once a child, you would feel the pain that that child experienced standing there, the humiliation, the confusion, the embarrassment. There were just a lot of emotions that I was trying to process watching that video, wondering what that little girl would have felt in that moment. And I need to say that the fact that that was happening, it was being filmed, there were other adults there, and nobody, not one single soul called that woman to order. The long and short of it is that this happened last year, 2022, back in March, and apparently it's just being resolved now. I don't know what about that should have dragged so long for it to be resolved now. And now that it has come out to the internet and everybody is, being outraged and making comments about it and calling them and emailing them and stuff like that, they are forced to take accountability, and they came out and released a statement and all of that. Now there are people that made videos explaining how the whole thing went, and I'm just going to go right ahead and play some of the videos and commentary on the whole matter and what people had to say.
Those of you who don't get it, every last one of the gymnasts, except for the little black girl, got a medal. The lady handing out the medals noticed that she had one left in her hand. And yet and still, she walked off the court with that little girl's medal. None of the adults stood up for that little black girl. That cameraman was right there in the midst of it all. He saw what was going on, and he didn't even step up and say, "Hey, you forgot one." Well, as you can imagine, the video went viral. This happened over in Ireland. And the Ireland Gymnastics Federation, whoever it is, they were getting slammed. And so, of course, they came out with this gaslighting apology / explanation. Here it is. Pause to read. Pause to read. Pause to read. But we're going to come back to this. And pause to read. That's the entire statement. But let's go back to that one portion of the statement. In the statement, it says, "We identified the official concerned and informed the individual in question of the complaint. The official in question accepted fully that what had happened had not been acceptable, but stressed that it had not been intentional." How was it not intentional? She's the darkest thing in the line, and you didn't see her? The most colorful one present. You didn't see her? You stopped at the one next to her, gave her a medal. You skipped her and then went on to the next one and gave her a medal. And then when you got to the end of the line, you had a medal left. How did you not know that somebody didn't get a medal? The gaslighting pisses me off. Statement goes on to say the official concerned said that upon realizing the mistake, they immediately rectified it and ensured that the competitor concerned was presented with her medal before she left the field of play. So she got it in the locker room on her way out the door. Is that when she got it? Not there on the court where she could be celebrated with her teammates and be celebrated by all of the people in the stands. You took away her moment. The official also expressed deep regret for what they described as an honest error and requested the opportunity to apologize in person to the competitor and her family. This request was initially declined. You wanna take them out to lunch? Is that what you want to do? You stole their daughter's moment. And you did that publicly, and yet you want to do it quietly, off camera, the apology. I would have declined it too. You humiliated, embarrassed that little girl publicly. Call a press conference and apologize publicly.
Okay, if you are still among those who think racism is a hoax, a myth, a big fat bungle, please watch this video. It's just a minute long. Now, they say the official admitted that what happened wasn't intentional and issued a written apology to the competitor and her family. You see? So this corroborates what we saw in the video. Blatant racism in 2023 in the eyes of hundreds of spectators, if not thousands and millions online. Now, how could she miss that girl? She was the only black girl there with the most beautiful and expansive smile, full of expectations, waiting to receive her medal. Now, you see, when a dastardly act of this nature is judged through the simplistic prism of right and wrong, it flattens it. She admitted it was wrong, but wasn't intentional. So, case closed. Now, what about the scar she left on that girl? Now, lest I forget, in the press release, they also state the official concerned said that upon realizing the mistake, not her mistake, but the mistake, whatever, she immediately rectified it and ensured that the black girl was presented with her medal before she left the field of play, which means she was later given her medal backstage, far away from the loving eyes of her loved ones and families who wanted to experience that moment. An act cruel, barbaric, savage, cold-blooded, and inhuman enough to traumatize that little girl for the rest of her life. Anyways, if to say na my pikin sha, God knows say I for don dey kiri by now, and then for don dey sing ile lo tarara, ile lo tarara.
That's what I mean. There's no excusing it. When the woman passes the black girl, she clearly has the medal in her hand. So she is clearly intentional that she's seen her and has withdrawn the medal and then walked away and then given medals, given medals, given medals, given medals. And then she finally runs out of medals for I think it's like 2 or 3 girls at the end, walks away and then comes back with medals. Now, again, I know the statement is showing that at some point before the end of the competition, she does give a medal to the girl who's left out, probably because there was pressure. Again, I've not seen that video, so I can't comment on that. But regardless of that, why would you intentionally miss her out to give her? It doesn't make sense. Everyone else got a medal apart from that girl, and that girl was in. It wasn't even like. Do you know what I mean? There's no way you could have missed. So yeah, I just feel sad for this girl, and I know it happened 2022 or 18 months ago, so March 2022, and we're only seeing this now, but imagine how this girl felt, probably moved on past this point. But these are the microaggressions. So it's one thing to have racism from kids, right? But for it to come from adults, it's just unacceptable. Like, why are you so intent on, breaking a kid's innocence? There's enough horrible stuff in the world. Let kids be kids,
The first thing I want to say, because it's the number one thing that's on my mind, is the passiveness of how we deal with these situations as black people. We cannot wait for white people to feel a certain way about situations, and we cannot wait forever for white people to be disgusted about something that we ourselves are not that heavily disgusted about. One thing I've learned from being raised in Ireland or raised in Europe is that you will never be short of white people who are saying, oh geez, that's disgusting, that's disgusting, that's disgusting. That's definitely their favorite things to say. And I say that in a way that I know that people might get offended, like, oh, what you want us to do? But I know that we have a culture of complacency towards these things. I definitely know, and I've always mentioned this, if there was like a child abuse situation, which this technically is, I can guarantee you that there wouldn't be a sense of like, you know, oh, that's disgusting. Rather, there'd be a whole bunch of people who want to take action. In fact, that the only video that I saw on TikTok of someone who wanted to take action was a white American. Again, why I always brag about the black Americans, because I think they have gotten that message across to their allies now that it's about action. It's about action. And here we have a white American who was quicker off the mark to get action on this situation. So I want to talk to black folk about this and talk about how we find ourselves just feeling like could have been worse. I know every single black person obviously looked at it like, man, that's could have been worse, because we're so used to complacency. I bet no black person felt this sense of, I want to know what I can do to make sure that woman doesn't have a job tomorrow. To make sure that the next black kid that's in the class doesn't have to see that woman's face again. We don't think like this. Black Americans have now developed the way they think like this. It's proactive behavior. We're not proactive people. So I wanted to say this, right? I'm just thinking in my mind, okay, what do black people think we can do? Okay, we can call in, right? Now, they've obviously lifted the situation to a place now where Gymnastics Ireland are even having to, you know, discuss the topic, which is obviously a success in that point. I personally think that it was because of the noise that was made outside of Ireland that they realized this is actually getting out of hand, because they're used to people inside not making that much noise. Black people can make a decision within ourselves where we say, all right, listen, we're going to pull all of our black children out of that. Any black child that has gymnastics. And a footnote for anybody who's white who says that they're not racist. This is why I'm very, 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 my line has got very thin now, because it's a lot of talk people like to put, a lot of talk. How many people who claim they are part of that gymnastics, people who say that they are so anti-racist, will pull their children out because they say, I don't want my child being taught with someone with a toxic mind like that. I don't want my child around it. I hate it. Would you keep your child in there if it was a child, Melissa? Would you keep your child if you knew? No, you wouldn't, because you care now about a serious topic to your heart that I don't want my child to be, right? If you look racist in the same way. What if my child inhales that mentality? What if my child sees that woman treat that black child different to how she treats the other black child during practice or training? And what if my child embraces that and absorbs it? What if that? We don't have that kind of mentality. So that's why I'm going to say all those people, white people who say that they're not racist, this is what not racist is. You're definitely not racist. I just want to put that out there.
So I've just seen something that has got my blood boiling. It makes me so angry, and racism is wrong no matter what context it happens in. But when you see a child experience it, it's just heartbreaking. Like, it's just heartbreaking. And you can sit there, if a child, like a little kid, experiences racism from like another little kid, you know, like primary school children, you can kind of put it down to stupid kids and their ignorance, and you can kind of teach them to like that it's wrong and to not do it. But when you see adults being so clearly racist towards a child, it's just horrific and disgusting. It's about this little girl who's in a lineup of maybe at least 10 children, probably more, and this woman is going down the line giving these little gymnasts their medals. She stops in front of the little black girl and she fumbles with the medal a little bit, then turns to the other white child on the other side of her, starts giving that medal like to the children down the line again, completely skipping out the little black girl. She then comes off camera for a minute to go off to get more medals. She comes a little bit back up the line, continues giving the medals, and I paused it at the end. You can see she had one medal still in her hand as she turns around to walk away from the line. Now, I watched the rest of that video. She did not give that medal to that little black girl at all. And if you look at it, you could be like, well, maybe she didn't win anything. There were 10 to 15 kids lined up and only one of them didn't get a medal. Are you telling me they all came first? No, it was maybe like a participation medal or something. But it's just disgusting. And you can see the little girl's face. She is clear as day not got her little medal on her, and every other child has got one, and she's looking up and down the line and she's watching that woman, waiting and praying and hoping that she will turn around and come up to her with her medal. That poor girl. I really hope that the parents do something about it. I really hope they get like the reparations they deserve from that, because that, and as an adult, how can you sit there and watch that, whether you're the woman who's given the medals or you're just one of the many adults that were standing around taking photos and watching, and did no one think to go up to them and be like, she's not got a medal?
So it's so heartbreaking. There are two common emotions people experience and they expressed. There's a whole disgust at what the woman did particularly. Then there's also a feeling of anger that a lot of people were also expressing, especially if they were to put themselves in the shoes of the parents of that child. Like, you can't do that to my child. You can't humiliate my child on a public platform, number one. And then another feeling that some people expressed, which I particularly can relate to, was that feeling of a flashback to your childhood, specific situations that probably kind of like formed you into the person you are today, where you had to ask yourself, is it that I'm not good enough? Why am I being treated differently? Why am I being compared to these other people? Are they better than me? That definitely could be the after effect of this whole thing on that little girl. Because first of all, you even stick out like a sore thumb. The fact that everybody is already light skinned, everybody is palm colored, you're the only chocolate, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful baby girl. You're the only black girl amongst every other person there. You already stick out like a sore thumb, and you're probably dealing with that and trying to fit in and all of that. You know, you're probably getting teased by the other kids. And then there in a public platform is one thing for you to be teased by your fellow kids, and it's another thing for you to experience this racism or prejudice from an adult that should know better. So when that whole thing happens, it's like telling you that no matter what you do, these people will always come ahead of you. You will always be treated differently. Even if you're a gymnast, even if you probably performed the same as them or probably even better, you're still going to get bullshit treatment because you are black. I mean, it's not going to be difficult for her to figure out that she's different, and probably that is why she was treated that way. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Now, this is different, but it kind of makes me remember, like, while growing up, you know, I had siblings. A lot of my siblings are lighter skinned, and if we're maybe taking a stroll in the neighborhood, you see some people be like, oh, they're sisters. They'll be like, oh, why is this one so light skinned and this one is so dark skinned? Oh, okay, which one is prettier? The light skinned one. Most people will say the light skinned one is prettier, and somehow I always expected people to say the light skinned one was prettier. So in my mind, that was them telling me that I was the ugly one because I was dark skinned. So I associated dark skin with ugliness. Now, that is the psychological damage, the psychological effect of doing things like that on children. I'm happy that I'm over it. And if I'm to share one secret, that's one of the reasons why I actually got into makeup, why I became a makeup artist. Because right from when I was young, being told that, okay, maybe I wasn't pretty enough because of I was dark skinned by people, not my parents. My parents made me feel beautiful and all of that. But then, unfortunately, other people kind of also have an effect with the things that they say on kids, right? The things that they say and do. So it kind of made me want to always make myself look pretty, and that was how I got into makeup. Now, the point I'm trying to say is, you see that effect, that girl will get an apology, she will get her medal given to her, but you see the psychological effects on that child, it can never be undone. And that is sad. To deal with something like that at such a young age, as fragile and innocent as that baby is, it is sad. It is unfortunate. Like, these palm color people need to do better. You guys really need to do better. Where is your humanity? And you are probably a mother. So they went and they released a statement, but they didn't talk about any disciplinary action that was going to be taken on that staff that did that thing. They were talking about how the woman said it was an honest mistake. An honest mistake. I don't really care about the apology. That's why I'm not even going to focus on the apology, because yeah, we know y'all do stuff and then y'all come and apologize, and the damage is already done. Your apology is just, you know, medicine after death, in my opinion. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this whole situation. Did you hear about it? Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.